Pop culture has trained us to expect the end of the world to be loud, fast, and cinematic. We imagine towering cities swallowed by massive waves or fire overnight, much like the legend of Atlantis. Consider the ancient Maya. At their peak, they constructed sweeping stone metropolises deep within the dense jungle canopy. Or the Indus Valley Civilization. Roughly 5 million people lived across a vast network of expertly planned urban centers built on intricate brick foundations. In the Mediterranean, the Minoans built a naval and economic powerhouse that dominated the region before encountering a catastrophic natural disaster. The narrative feels satisfyingly dramatic. But when modern archaeologists dig into the dirt, the story of the sudden, apocalyptic end completely falls apart. History's greatest empires did not die in explosive overnight events. The true nature of civilizational collapse is far slower, highly complex, and deeply relevant to the world we live in today. For decades, the leading theory for the fall of the Indus Valley was a violent invasion by nomadic tribes. Early 20th century archaeologists like Sir Mortimer Wheeler pointed to abandoned cities as proof of a massive, bloody conquest. But when researchers cataloged the artifacts, the evidence for war simply wasn't there. Instead of mass caches of weapons, they found an overwhelming number of children's toys and complex trade seals. The inhabitants were largely peaceful. We see a similar contradiction with the Minoans. Around 1600 BC, the Thera volcano erupted with a volcanic explosivity index of 7, generating massive tsunamis and choking the sky with ash. By all accounts, it should have wiped out the civilization instantly. The chronological evidence tells a different story. The Minoans quickly recovered from the immediate blast, rebuilding their palaces with high-quality masonry and actually entering their cultural zenith in the years following the eruption. Today, modern experts studying the Maya actively reject the word collapse altogether. There is simply no archaeological layer showing that their society vanished entirely in a single catastrophic year. Clinging to the myth of sudden, violent apocalypses blinds us to the actual evidence of how these advanced societies slowly failed over centuries. To find the true killers of antiquity, we have to look past the dramatic battlefields and search for invisible, creeping environmental changes. By drilling deep into polar glaciers, scientists extract ice cores that preserve atmospheric data. These frozen timelines allow researchers to pinpoint the exact years of ancient volcanic sulfur spikes and periods of severe global cooling. Similarly, tree rings act as absolute calendars. The width of each annual ring provides a highly precise record of shifting rainfall patterns and prolonged droughts down to the exact season. When we apply these tools to the Indus Valley, a clear picture emerges. Around 1900 BC, shifting tectonic plates caused the entire region to grow significantly colder and drier. This abstract map illustrates the chain reaction. As the vital Saraswati River dried up, the massive agricultural surplus failed. Unable to feed their populations or produce goods, the Indus cities lost their trade routes with Egypt and Mesopotamia. A single, slow-moving environmental disruption acts as the first falling domino, triggering a chain reaction that quietly dismantles a civilization's entire economic system. We now know the Maya faced their own creeping threat. Recent excavations reveal that their massive urban reservoirs were slowly poisoned by toxic water contamination, largely from the heavy metals in their own paints. When this toxic water supply combined with a period of severe, prolonged drought, farming and urban life became unsustainable, forcing the gradual, block-by-block abandonment of major cities. The Minoans ultimately suffered a similar fate. The long-term environmental fallout of the Thera eruption degraded their agricultural output. This slow stress masked deep economic vulnerabilities, eventually fracturing their complex neopalatial society from the inside out. Environmental degradation quietly poisons the well of a society, breaking it down over generations, long before it reaches a final breaking point. We have to redefine how we think about civilizational collapse. Complex societies rarely just vanish. Rather, their intricate systems simply fail to adapt to a changing environment. The people of these empires didn't disappear. They migrated, adapted, and transformed. Faced with starvation, the Indus Valley farmers abandoned their dying cities and successfully re-established their lives further east in the Ganges Basin. Our cultural anxiety about dramatic, cinematic apocalypses has us looking for the wrong threats entirely. The actual dangers facing a complex society don't arrive in a single fiery day. Nay, are the drying rivers, the contaminated reservoirs, and subtle shifts in global climate. Surviving the future requires recognizing this slow unraveling of our environment, because that is what quietly chips away at the foundation of a society, year after year.